This guy is nuts. Is he really making daily recordings of his possible divorce and releasing it as a podcast? They both cheated on each other. She's making six figures and still doesn't contribute to any joint endeavors financially. Why is she still with him? Why is he still with her? I can't wait for the next episode. This helped me be a better wife. So this is how men think. I hate my husband less now. I understand my wife more now. These are some of the listener comments to the Divorce Diaries podcast. All over the map, I know. These anonymous accounts of events should resonate with anyone that has been married, is married, or is preparing for marriage and helps couples avoid pitfalls as they might prepare for marriage. Entire seasons are released on Patreon weeks before anywhere else at Divorce Diaries Podcast Patreon page. Link in description. Now for today's episode.
I'm having a tough time dealing with living the life that I didn't feel I'm not supposed to be living this life. Or am I? Right now I'm in a hotel room last minute because I'm doing something last minute that I wasn't supposed to be doing the way that I'm doing it. I don't like country music, at least not enough to buy 2 third row tickets to see a country music star in a city states away from me. I don't like country music enough to do that. But I love my wife enough to, for her birthday, buy her tickets on the third row to see right now one of the, if not the biggest country music star in the world for her birthday. And this would have been a little while after her birthday, but because of everything that happened with us and because of my new way of moving through the world, I'm here by myself. She'd been sending me so many of the songs from this person that I liked them, and I knew that she liked them. So I spent a stack on some tickets so that I could take her to see what appeared to be one of her most favorite stars and her most favorite genre of music, which consistently for some years has been country music. I'm more of a hip-hop kind of guy, but I do like country. I do like opera. I do like classical. I do like jazz. Smooth mostly. But I'm sharing this moment with the artist at the concert, a bunch of strangers, and myself. But I actually got a chance to share the moment with myself. I'm understanding that as I shared those moments, I could feel longing for my wife because she wasn't there. Acceptance that she wasn't there. Realizations for why she wasn't there. Anger that she wasn't there. But I also had some happiness because I survived it. I beat back tears for a lot of that concert. I beat back tears because I felt the gaping hole in my heart now that we're no longer together. I will not experience life's joys and first-time experiences or trying a drink together, a new food, a new country, or country music. I won't experience those things for the first time or repeatedly with my wife again. But I didn't have a bad time. I wasn't sure if I was going to be happy because my thoughts and goals and hopes were to sell those tickets beforehand, because I'd sort of put it out of my mind that I'd be attending. I said, hey, I bought those tickets for her. If I'm not going with her, there's no point. In a weird way, I was almost saying to myself, if I can't live life with her, life isn't worth living. And I thought that, and I felt that for a very long time. I guess that's what happens when you totally shape your whole life, perspective, needs, and desires around a person. When that person is no longer there, I guess you do that thing that they say you do, soul search. I guess a lesson I can walk away from. Maybe it's not the best idea to tie yourself up fully into a person. But that's probably off the table for me because I am ride or die. But I guess the whole ride part, maybe I'm riding with someone different moving forward. Maybe I also need to understand I need to ride for me. I'm not going to say that my wife was or wasn't riding for me. But I will say she wasn't riding for me in the way that I needed her to ride for me. I appreciate the ways that she did ride for me. But it hurt. It hurt me to understand that she wasn't able to or willing to ride for me in the ways that I needed her to. Settling into this new reality, and it's not the reality of experiences, it's the reality of what is. Now that I have erected boundaries, standards, like today I'm living in one, I'm literally in another city without my wife, celebrating one half of the tickets that I purchased for her specifically for her birthday. And why is she not here? I tried to gift the tickets to her on Ticketmaster. And I let her know, hey, I gave you the tickets. You know, they were your birthday gift and you should go and you should enjoy them. And she said, I don't want those tickets. That was a good snapshot of my wife and I's relationship. I do something, I'm just going to say it from my perspective. I do something that I have zero interest in. In fact, maybe even negative interest because of the expense and the trouble and the travel and all those things. But I do something totally selfless for my wife. And I keep it secret because it's going to be a surprise for her birthday. But things happen, things come up, and I do need to ultimately say, hey, on this day we're going to have to go somewhere. But things are a little pear-shaped, a little sideways with us, and things are getting bad. Okay, I just want you to know that this is something that I did for you. And you should go. So selfless act in purchasing. Not so great act because I need to spoil the surprise. And then a selfless act by saying, here you go. No strings, nothing. Just go ahead and enjoy your birthday and go and indulge in a star that you want to see. And I won't go, even though I purchased these with the two of us in mind. And then she rejected me. I don't want those tickets. So I pulled back the Ticketmaster invitation. This was months ago. I didn't really have a plan on what I was going to do with them. I just said, well, I don't know. I needed to pick up the pieces of my heart after that. And I didn't have any urgency to make a move. And to be honest, I held out hope, thinking that we may go together. But I've promised myself that I will take what people say and do at face value. I guess pun intended. When you tell me you don't want those tickets, I will accept that. In the past, I would say, wait, they're for you. Convince. Just take them. It doesn't matter that I wanted to go with you. It doesn't matter. I want you to have them. I got them so you could enjoy yourself. I don't want those tickets. AKA, I don't want your effort. AKA, I don't care that you did this for me. I don't know if that was her own boundary. I don't care. I got these for you. I don't want those tickets. I don't want you. I don't want those tickets. I don't want that effort. I don't consider this to be any sort of step in the right or wrong direction. I don't want those tickets. Okay. Time goes by and it's time for this concert. Oh, geez, I could hustle and try to sell them. I could not go. Waste the money, so to speak. But I came up. I sat by myself. I came up by myself. And I sat by myself. And I enjoyed that concert, even though it was hard. I enjoyed the concert by myself. I took a lot of videos and resisted every urge to send them along in text message. You see, I really wanted her to experience this country star that she loves. I also selfishly wanted to send those to her so that she could see what she said no to. She could see the effort that she rejected. I also wanted her to see that I was hurting and that I missed her. I wanted that. But then I thought about how I feel she knows, because I've told her my days aren't going well. In fact, I've told her several times, I said, please stop asking me how my days are going, because I broke down in tears. I just said, I'm not living a life that I wanted to. I love you and I miss you. And we're not together anymore, able to be. And she said something to the effect of, well, I understand finally, because I kind of went in detail about, I love you, I miss you, I don't live with my family anymore, and I don't have an identity, and now I understand that I don't. I'm broken. I spend a lot of time reflecting and reminiscing, and it hurts. And I hurt all the time. Because I believe I'm dealing with many broken hearts. Broken heart from my marriage, a broken heart from my lost friendship and bond with my wife, my broken and tarnished relationships with my children. The entire life that I had is gone. The entire life that I had is gone. And I understand I need to find a way to be happy in this new life. And accepting being rejected by my wife is something I can no longer avoid feeling and processing. I don't want those tickets. My reactions don't have to necessarily be right, but they are my reactions. It's how I'm reacting to feeling that rejection. And I guess now it's time for me to not make any codependent reaches toward my wife. I need to understand and move as if I am okay alone. I would love to have the company of a woman. A woman's energy is pleasant. A woman's energy is nice. A woman's energy is something that I have enjoyed. But when it's positive, it's great. When it's negative, it's not so great. Just like anyone. But the female energy is something that I guess I was getting from my wife. I appreciated it a lot. Maybe I didn't even realize how much I did. Now that it's gone, and I'm laying here alone in a last-minute hotel room because I didn't plan any of this. Everything was sort of fly by the seat of my pants. I just forgot about those tickets, tried to put them out of my mind. Then last minute, a reminder pops up on my phone letting me know, you have 2 tickets to a concert. Then I'm remembering and coming to grips with the fact that, oh shit, I'm going alone. Or you got to sell them. Or ask her, do you want to go? And I fought that urge. Because we're in a bad place. We haven't spoken really much often at all. We speak about the kids. That's it. And this morning, I'm recording this at night, but this morning, there's a little thing internally at our job, because we work at the same place, where I put in my leave status before I left yesterday. And I was hoping that the tickets would sell, but they didn't. But in the event that they didn't, I put in our little digital virtual sign-on board. I said I won't be in on this day and the next, in the event that I made the decision to go. I could always go to work and take it out and just put myself as present, set myself as all out. And she called me that morning just as I'm boarding the bus to travel out of state to go and see this concert. Usually the two of us would be boarding that bus together, but we weren't. It was just me. And she called many hours, maybe 8, 10 hours or whatever it was before the concert. I could have said, hey, why don't you hop on the next bus and come up here so we can see this together? I fought that. She said, what are you doing? Because she saw my status. And I didn't lie. I could have said, yeah, I don't know. I'm just, because my location services are still on as of this recording. I'll turn them off eventually. That'll be breaking the ties fully. I'll totally drop myself out of the family membership plans that we have. But I guess that day, it just hasn't come yet. I was totally honest with her over the phone. Why are you calling? First I asked. She said, you don't call me in the morning anymore. This isn't something that we do. And you have a tone. What's up? I think she could sense that I was being deliberate and I wasn't going to move on any further. And that manipulating me with guilt is no longer an option. You called. You have a tone. Why? She said, well, I guess I shouldn't have called. And I did have a moment of weakness there. I said, well, no. It's okay. I'm just wondering why and if there's anything there. I could have and probably should have just let her rant and hang up the phone angrily. And I should have stayed in silence, maybe. But I didn't, maybe I did it with the right boundary. You called, and you have a tone, and you normally don't call. Why did you call at this moment? Well, I noticed that you were signed out in our system. Okay, did you forget? Forget what? She says. And that typically happens. She told me once that I recounted something that she told me. She told me that I hate you. You are the worst person I've ever met. or I wish I never met you because you are the worst person I've ever met. I hate you. Those are well thought out statements in rage. I understand that that may not be something that a person actually does feel at the time. It's just what they exclaim. But she said it, and those words really do hurt me. And it's not okay to speak to or say those things to your spouse. It isn't. It doesn't matter how you're feeling in the moment. Saying those things isn't okay. And I used to search long, hard, and deep into my pockets, and I would always find a benefit of the doubt to give someone, especially my wife. I'm out of those now. Because as I used to look through my pockets for benefits of the doubt to give to my wife, I would, as I'm searching, I'd be searching angrily. This doesn't make any sense. Why would you think that? I already benefited it out. Or, yeah, well, I mean, maybe I did do something. I must have done something to deserve that comment and to be hung up on, and to be told, I hate you. I didn't realize it was just chipping away at my self-worth and self-esteem. And I would just react defensively, which would then create more drama and trauma for us both. Barking at my wife back. You don't want those tickets. Do you know that I did all this for you? I wouldn't be buying these tickets if it were. No. I don't want those tickets. Okay. So getting that call and saying, did you forget? So I thought maybe she didn't forget. I thought maybe it was a passive aggressive attempt at trying to come with me or get me to invite her along, to which I wasn't going to do. You rescinded your gift with, I don't want those tickets. You could then ask again, I guess, if you wanted, hey, can I still go? If you can say one thing, I believe you can say the other. But I won't move any differently moving forward. If you don't want these tickets and you don't want to talk to me, and I think the latest thing was my wife said, you're selfish. I look at you very differently. I showed her this female delusion calculator that is typically brought up on a podcast not a podcast, it's like on YouTube. But these guys, they sit on a panel with lots of women, and most of the women say that they want a man that is over 6 feet tall, makes over six figures, I think, that's single, and I think, and not obese. Oh, between the ages. And I think there's an age thing. So once they put these things in the ages, once they put all of this stuff in, and it's tied directly to the U.S. Census Bureau, because they just kind of keep records, of the income status and race. That was another thing you could pick, any race, white, black, or Hispanic, I believe. So just showing her this, we didn't even do it, but just showing her that female delusional calculator that's tied into the census, she said that she saw me differently that day. Because there's a red pill manosphere out there. If people don't really know what it is, the Red pill is a callback to the Matrix, where Neo was living in a blue-pilled world, the world he perceived and the world he thought was real. And then there was the red pill that he could take to actually unlock true knowledge, I believe, and understanding. So that is the red pill for men in the manosphere, is what it's called. So men are sort of waking up and or having discussions and conversations about relationships, money, drive, determination. And this podcast, YouTube channel, is geared toward helping men because there's a lot of suicide amongst men because we sort of make things really final. We propose marriage, and that is the first step in initiating a final relationship status and stage. And we do things like, which is why the jails are populated with the demographic that they are populated with, mostly men, because men kill, and men also follow through with hurting themselves mortally and committing suicide. Men sort of follow through with those things more than women do, more frequently, I should say. So she said that I'm selfish because I just showed her that, hey, this is something that, a lot of women, they want this. Some women, most women, I should say, really want a man that is far, 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 far above average. And specifically put, the average man, I believe, in America is 5'8", but a woman wants a man that's over 6 feet. The average woman or something. A lot of women will say that they just want a guy that's taller than them, but they're saying, hey, put in your ideal man, and they put their ideal man in, not realizing that they're actually dating, looking for that ideal man. And the hosts tend to joke around with the calculator but also try to help women understand that, do you understand the man you listed that makes, some women will put the salary number at, he needs to make at least $350,000, or even if they were to say just 100,000, they don't seem to realize that man that just on one of those criteria, height, the average man is 5'8", not 6 feet. The average salary for a man is about 44,000, maybe it's 46,000, maybe it's 42,000, but they want a man that makes at least six figures. So that man is also sort of rare. They want a man that is not obese. I don't think it's any secret that Americans are the size that we are. So excluding obese cuts down that pool of men immensely. And checking the exclude all married men, that also unchecks that also decreases the number of men that are there. And I believe that last one is race. So if you have a racial preference, white, black, Hispanic, if you have one of those, obviously that would decrease that pool of people. And then we didn't get this far, my wife and I, but it jokingly will say, oh, they show the percent of men that exist in the United States or world, maybe, that are like this. And most of the women will score sub, 0.0% or something like that. If anything, like that, maybe if they're conservative with some of what they want, they may be at about 1.7%. So that's a very hard man to find. And they just try to help the women understand that, yeah, the man that you want is extremely rare. So we want to help you with your delusion that you could just go outside and find a man 6 feet, fit, six figures, not married, that would just, I think I said six figures, that will than just pick you up and wife you. So I thought we would joke, but she took that as me being a sort of chauvinist and misogynist, I guess, and I'm very selfish. Meanwhile, we're doing all this stuff. I'm doing all this stuff with the country music tickets, and I don't want those tickets. Okay. I won't force. I won't ask. So, but when you do ask me, when I'm headed up, I'm like, wow, it's just stranger timing that you're calling. I'm actually headed up to a concert. And her reaction was passive aggressive and telling, I guess. Oh, really? Well, enjoy that. Who you taking? I'm by myself. Because in her mind, she's committed. As I did cheat early on in our marriage. Poor reaction on my part to being denied sex. That's not the appropriate reaction. I know there's a lot of men that would argue that it is an appropriate reaction. If I were to listen to most people, mostly women, because men don't really talk openly like that. But yeah, I started dating that guy at work because he was fulfilling needs that weren't being fulfilled. And a lot of the time, the support I hear is, yeah, do your thing, girl. I mean, you can't be unhappy. But when a man does that thing because of something he's not getting, he's a dog. And I was looked at and coined, and how could you do that? That was so horrible. And I would always say, I agree. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. The denial and rejection from you, it hurts me. A woman is literally designed to accept a man. If you believe in the Christian doctrine at all, where God made man in his image and Eve, God thought it was beautiful, so then he made Eve, but he made Eve by Adam's rib to be his helpmate. So, okay, that's one way of looking at it. Another way is just the female body is made to accept a man. I have a penis. My wife has a vagina. She accepts me. So when that is gone, she rejects me. Now, I'm saying that right, wrong, or indifferent, that is how men are wired and feel. Wired and feel. And when we are not accepted, we feel rejection. Accept me. I said that I would forsake, quote unquote, all others for you. That means forsake other people as my sexual access, my sexual stimulation. And we both said I do. And that doesn't mean that I'm deserving, quote unquote, of your body at any time I want, for any reason, under any circumstance. I'm not. But the repeated rejection hurt me. And after a time, you start to think as a man, like, well, I'm not gonna rape her for sure. Like, I would never do that. But I have to understand, she may always say no. She said no for the past 2, 3, 6 months. Oh, I may just be in a sexless relationship. Then that urge, it doesn't go away. And I still want pleasant female energy around me. I don't want those tickets. I don't want you. I don't want that effort. But she made sure to say, oh, who you taking? I'm by myself. She continues to say little things like, who are you with? Who are you taking? What are you doing? And I really would prefer maturity. Oh, I see. This is really making me uncomfortable. I'm going to get off the phone now. She doesn't have to say, I hope you enjoy yourself, because maybe she doesn't hope I enjoy myself, which is okay. Because you did just find out that, oh yeah, that selfless thing he did for me, he made a choice at some point to go on and indulge and enjoy it anyway. And he didn't do what he normally does. He didn't call me. He didn't beg. He didn't ask repeatedly. He didn't remind me a week before. He didn't do all the things that he'd been doing. He appears to be moving on. And I have to be honest, I am. It's not easy, but I have to. I don't have another choice. Am I going to continue to be sad, mad, or glad? I don't know, actually, because this hurts. This really hurts. And because I had children with her, I will have to deal with this person to some extent for probably the rest of my life, unfortunately. I miss her. Or I miss what I thought of her. Either way, I am thankful. I'm not sure of what. It's just more of a feeling now. It's probably most certainly perspective, poise. I'm thankful for the help I've had in therapy. It's always it's been very helpful. I'm understanding how to both recognize problems or recognize that I'm stressed and stressing. Where is the stress in my body? What am I truly stressed or frustrated by? What's really got my goat? Then giving myself time. I don't need to try to solve a problem I don't yet understand. So I need to take a lot of time out and retreats, steps back, to also learn to understand what the problem actually might be before I react, so that I don't over or under or misreact. I could simply process and react. Oh, I still have these tickets. Process it. You could try to sell them. Okay, process it. Well, you could go. Process it. You could call her and see if she wants to go. Process it. You guys don't even talk on the phone. Why would you want to sit on a bus for hours to go out of state, to go to a concert where you have that feeling of this is it, and then come back because it was so late, I couldn't get on a bus at that time to go back. So I had to, last minute, rent a hotel in the middle of the city. Ugh. And then what? We would have done that together. And I mean, it could have been spontaneous. It could have been good, but I understand now. I don't want a divorce, but I want to not be married to my wife anymore. I don't like accepting that we aren't going to die married together. But I'm happy knowing that I'm not even, I guess the politically correct answer could be that we both have the opportunity to find someone else. But I'm not thinking that way. I'm just thinking that this marriage wasn't good for me. It turned me into something and someone that I don't understand. And quite frankly, a lot of the time I didn't like. I am a nice person. Like factually, I am a nice person. I will help an old lady with her bags. I will, just the other day, I was on speakerphone in the car with my kids and wife, and I had on my AirPods, and they were just listening to me, and I had to stop the conversation because there was a old lady that was just struggling to get in her car. Her husband, he was just really old as well, and he was in the driver's seat already because he came to pick her up like a true gentleman. Chivalry isn't dead, not in the golden generation anyway. And his days of helping her get in the car were over. They had a big SUV for her anyway. She just couldn't get her legs up, and the cane and swinging them in and not slamming her dress in the door. It was just all kinds of problems. And she had the bags and she had to get them in the car. And as I go into Target, I'm like, oh, hey, I can help you out. Would you like me to? And immediately, yes, help me. Yes. It's just how I'm wired. If you're in distress, I'm there. If you're not in distress, oh man, if you're not in distress, I'm there, which can be annoying, I'm sure. People kind of have to say, back off, Dad, I don't need help. And I have to put my hands up. Sorry. I'm micromanaging, aren't I? My helping is hurting. But I gotta respect you. I don't want those tickets. Okay. Where do I come in all this? Now that this concert's coming, I don't want to be around someone that thinks, says, and declares, I'm selfish. They hate me. I'm the worst person they have ever met. I don't think it's good that we spend time alone together, one-on-one. I can't ignore these very clear statements, exclamations of feeling toward myself. Let's just call it what it is. You don't fuck with me. And you've been saying these very hurtful things to me for a long time. And I'm not even going to say that they were unprovoked. Every really bad thing that I've done and said and has been a reaction to something someone did or said to me. I don't bring the smoke. Usually people bring it and I bring the fire because I'm heavy-handed. But now I will just respect the fact that people may bring the smoke and I will just not add anything to it. I'll move in a different direction. I'll say, okay, I understand. That's how you feel, and I move on. It's becoming easier. It's taking a lot of practice. And today was definitely a test of that might. Oh, going to the concert? Who are you taking? Going by myself, and I'm looking forward to the day where, who are you taking? If that ever happens again, maybe I say, well, that's personal, or none of your business, even if I'm just by myself again. You don't get to passive aggressively ask me that. You can say, oh, man, Are you taking a date? That would be an inquisitive way of truly asking. But the way that she asked, I'm not going to bullshit. You supposed and assumed that I had someone that I was taking. And you wanted to know who. Who are you taking? I'm not taking anyone. Did you decide that you would take someone else in my place? Are you dating someone that you're taking? Just something more heartfelt. Who are you taking? And I get it. I've been there. Who are you talking to? Who are you dealing with? When you don't trust or like someone or whatever it is, I did those things with my wife also. I guess on the one hand, it's good to know the feelings are still there, but on the other, right, you do communicate this way. You're thinking about yourself. I'm literally on that bus. I'm beating back tears, but also happy that she's calling because maybe there's a chance. I'm always still like, maybe there's a chance. But then she quickly disabused me of that chance. Who you taking? I know how we all react to pressure and stress situations, and I understand that is most likely what that was. But I'm no longer in the business of assuming. You said that, but you could have said something else. You said it that way. You could have said it a different way. Those were two insulated choices that you made. Just like your choice to say, I don't want those tickets. It was my choice to go to the concert anyway. That was the circumstance and situation that you put me and us in. I don't want those tickets. I don't think we should spend time together, the two of us. Okay. I will move forward alone. Don't worry. I guess now we're all in a weird situation because I'm granting people their wishes. I don't want to go to rehab. Okay. I mean, that's a little bit different because it's rehab, but the sentiment that I'm trying to make is, even if the things are the best things for us, it's not my job to force them onto you, usher them into your life, passive aggressively remind you of what you should do, shouldn't do, are missing out on, would like, wouldn't like. Remember, helping you to remember, hey, here's what happened the last time you did that. Like, no. People have agency and people are adults, even if they don't make the best decisions. It's not my job to worry about others because, as I found in therapy, I have a lot of my own shit that I need to work through that is a fucking catastrophe. I don't have the time, effort, or luxury to worry about others. I don't want a divorce, but as time goes on, I understand that I'm going to, I don't know for sure, most likely I'm going to be a lot more happy apart.
Wow. That was the Divorce Diaries podcast. The Daily Saga will continue tomorrow. The full season's episodes are on Patreon now. Subscribe for early access. Click the Patreon link in the description. Hopefully, these entries help our anonymous recorder as a form of his own personal therapy. That's his hope and his intention. Will these recordings of life's curveballs lead this family to the best resolution in the end? We'll keep listening. New episodes are released daily on all podcast players, but all episodes are available on Patreon at Divorce Diaries Podcast Patreon page. Until next time.